Hello, I'm here with Ann Ravel now. She is running for state senate in District 15, which includes much of the South Bay, a big part of Silicon Valley, so I'm sure we'll have lots of issues to talk about. Welcome, Ann. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running?
Thank you very much. And I really appreciate being here and being able to talk to everybody about these issues. I have been in every level of government. And so both at the county level, I was county council in Santa Clara County for many years. I was then asked to go to the Obama administration at the Department of Justice in the 2009. Then Governor Brown appointed me as chair of the California Fair Political Practices Commission. And then I went back to the federal government as chair and commissioner of the Federal Election Commission. But one valuable thing I learned, because in all of those jobs, what I saw my role was to be creative and make change that's unusual for lawyers in those circumstances, but to do things on behalf of all of the public. But also, I understand that you can't have litmus tests about things. You have to be able to work with other people and meet them where they are in order to accomplish things in government. And now we don't have that. And you can even see it more after COVID, but unfortunately, the trust in government is so low. And those are some of the reasons why I have decided, sorry about that, phone in the background, why I decided to run. Because it seems to me that California has so many issues that are of concern and they haven't been fixed. And I think a lot of that is because many of the legislators are either beholden to certain special interests and they just do whatever that interest wants. Many people don't read the bills, don't think about the consequences. And I like to make decisions based on facts and data, thinking through what the consequences might be for all people, not just for a particular group, and try to make the best decision that works for most people. And that's why I'm running.
You know, Ann, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you as a lawyer and somebody who's got a background in privacy to ask about the future of California and privacy. As you know, California has been leading the nation in new privacy laws, and we're heading into a time when we're probably going to have even more controversy over this, because on the one hand, we have this desire for privacy and to protect and guard our own data. But on the other hand, there's increased interest in civil unrest, crime, and even smart cities, going way beyond. And I guess I'd like to get your perspective on how you feel about balancing those interests.
Yeah, well, I know a lot about privacy because, as I mentioned to you earlier, I have a foundation grant to look into issues of digital deception. And I've done a lot of research on issues of privacy for that reason, because my concern emanates from my work in democracy issues. And I really am concerned about the use of private information without the consent of the individuals in order to micro-target them, to alter their views, in some cases to engage in voter suppression, and other things that I think are really detrimental to our democracy. On the other hand, we know that the use of data by business is often something that the consumer wants. And it is actually of assistance to the consumer and to people generally to understand certain data. And so we do have to balance those two interests. I feel strongly that all of the particularly platforms, Google, Facebook, et cetera, that are utilizing our private data should be getting an opt-in from people as to whether or not they want that data to be used for the micro-targeting, Or in the other part, there needs to be transparency about that. And my concern with the privacy law that we presently have is that it had many unintended consequences that were impactful in a way not really meant by Senator Hertzberg, and I think he had a valiant effort, but then having the Attorney General do allegedly the regulations and dribbling them out one by one and not having the capability to even enforce, I think made it impracticable. And I don't think that it was a good way to go. And certainly there's issues with the new ballot measure that's on the ballot, which would alter it to some degree. I think that it's better than what we now have, however.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people would, kind of look at not only the rights of the consumers, but how this is going to impact business. And these days, as you know, business is really suffering because of COVID and the sheltering. Is the state of California doing enough to help business especially small business, get back on its feet?
I don't think the state has done enough, and we need to. And people aren't recognizing how important small businesses are in particular, because they are the major employer. Certainly they are in Santa Clara Valley. There is no question about that. And many of those businesses are going to go out of business because of the impact of COVID and even after. And so I believe that when there are requirements that are placed on businesses, there needs to be some thought by the legislature about how that impacts businesses and whether or not those economic requirements with regard to their employees are really a social benefit that the state should be funding, that it shouldn't be the responsibility of business. And if there is going to be such a responsibility, then the state has to help small businesses to survive by also augmenting them and giving them tax benefits and other kinds of credits that will help small businesses stay afloat. I mean, I live in a fairly small community. Small business is the lifeblood of this community, and many of them have already shuttered. And I really think that the state has to step up and not only worry, and certainly definitely worry about income disparity for everybody, but definitely as well to try to encourage more small businesses and to, if they can't get back on their feet with respect to the business that they previously had, to work with them to be able to enter new businesses that might be better for the next generation.
Okay, I have one last question, and that is, how do people find you or get a hold of you if they want to contact you?
Well, my staff tells me that when I'm elected that I should never give out my phone, that I should change my phone number, because I always give people my phone number, and I do. I think it's really important for me to hear from people. That's how you have to make decisions as well. You talk to experts, you talk to people who are impacted. So you can contact me through my website, which is Ravel4CA, it's FORCA.com. And I have my personal email address is ann.ravel@gmail.com. And if you email me and have a question, I'll give you my phone number and we can talk. I welcome anybody's questions or thoughts.
Okay, it's Ann Ravel for State Senate, District 15. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care.